The first step will be to separate the students into teams of 3 or 4, depending on the amount of students. Now that the students have been separated into their groups, it is time to begin the introduction video. Once the introduction video has stopped playing, pass out the workbooks to each student. Here is the workbook. Please turn to page 1. Once on page 1, read it aloud to the students. Make sure that they understand which buildings need to be built and what the guidelines are for those buildings throughout the entirety of the construction process. Now please turn to page 2 of the workbook. This is the scoring sheet for the city that the students are going to build. Please tell them that they are trying to build a city with the goal of getting the most amount of points possible. Also, tell them that they will have to plan and strategize on how they will build their city. Please tell them that this is intended to be a team activity rather than an individual activity. They're going to have to build as a group, so they should plan as a group. Furthermore, this page is not meant so that each student knows every single qualification for their city. Just make sure that they have a general idea of what they will get points for and let them know that they can refer back to this page at any time during the construction process. Now, please turn to page 3 of the workbook and tell the students to begin to design their city. Remind the students that there are a lot of buildings that need to be built and there are a lot of guidelines that must be followed. This is intended to be a group activity. Furthermore, this part of the activity should not take more than a few minutes. Now it is time to pass out the Legos to the students. Please make sure that each group has one baseboard and one set of bricks to build with. Also, while distributing the Legos, you can let the students know that the other pages of the workbook are intended to be done with any spare time at the end of the activity or at home. The construction step of the activity should be the bulk of the activity. As such, you should leave 20 to 30 minutes of build time available for the students. As construction continues, do not forget to walk around and ask groups about how construction is going. You should ask them how they're dealing with their limited amount of space, and how they're dealing with only having a certain amount of certain kind of bricks. During the construction phase of the activity, you should walk around and make sure that each student is contributing to the overall construction project. If not, this situation should be remedied. As time for the construction phase of the activity is winding down, you should remember to remind the students that they have 5 minutes left, then 3 minutes left, then potentially 1 minute left. When time is up, make sure that the students are no longer handling the Legos. Then, you should walk around and compliment each group on their city. Now it is time to score each city based off the criteria on page 2 of the workbook. Make sure that each student writes their score in their respective workbook. Moreover, during this time, each group will be given a chance to explain their strategy while they were building so that they could maximize their number of points. You should note that you can declare a winner at this time. However, competition is not the main point of this activity. Thus, you should only declare a winner if that would be fun for the students. Now it's time for the discussion phase of the activity. The point of this phase is to tie in the questions that were asked to them during the construction phase to real-life situations. It is imperative that the instructor is effective in guiding the discussion so that the students may learn what the activity is meant to teach. The talking points may include, but are not limited to, what problems did you have with the size limit of your city? Did you have any problems fitting all of your buildings on the base plate? Hopefully at least one group will answer yes. Then, you can follow up with these questions. How can cities in real life deal with this problem? This should be open to all of the students. Hopefully you will get multiple answers and then you can encourage them to think about this real life issue. Did you have any problems finding the Legos you wanted to use towards the end? Hopefully, students will say yes to this question. The real cities actually have issues with this because they use more resources as they get larger, and you should make the students aware of this, that materials are also an issue rather than just space. Once the discussion is finished, please inform the students that the workbook is for them to keep and that they still have activities that they can finish on their own time. This is now the end of the activity. We hope that you will enjoy the Urban Lego City Development activity and that you will implement it in your classroom.